Hello, beautiful family and friends at home and abroad. Today I'm going to make a quick little video here on diabetes, type 1 and type 2. We'll touch on type 1 a little bit. The main subject today is going to be chromium picolinate. It's one that we've used for many years and I continue to use and will use for a very long time to come. Vanadium is another one also we get in a supplementation form. Of course, you get these things in your food, but one of the things that you'll find, like a lot of nutrients, is our diet is vastly deficient, and just our food sources are vastly deficient. So what I want to touch on here is going to be the type 1. We'll start with type 2 diabetes, which, in the Philippines, there's probably an awful lot of people that are type 2 diabetes and don't even know. I mean, that's the case here as well, but and oftentimes that's something I've worked with a lot of people that were diabetic, and when you're talking about type 2, that unfortunately is self-induced by and large. There's a lot of things that we can touch on that will affect that, and things that actually say in self-induced maybe not quite as fair as one might think, because you think, well, my diet's really good, but we'll touch on that in the things that touch on insulin resistance. So, is it a chromium deficiency? Well, there's some science that says so. Is it a vanadium deficiency? Well, there is some science that says that too, and I'll touch on that down here below. There was a study in Vancouver. Now, this was done 40 years ago now, that stated vanadium will replace insulin for adult onset diabetes. So, these kind of facts that they've known about deficiencies causing major disease, which obviously diabetes is worldwide. It's something that is out there, but obviously there's no money in it. And when you're talking about vanadium, I mean, you can have a month's supply for $3. Well, what does it cost to be a diabetic? I don't know all the costs, but I can tell you one thing: my son is a type 1 diabetic, and it's not cheap. And he suffers greatly, and unfortunately that was, there are reasons and whys and wherefores for that, and I'll touch on that too. Or vanadium deficiency, chromium deficiency, or fungal etiology. It's kind of the, which came first, the chicken or the egg, or the cart before the horse. Fungal etiology, the thing about where that comes in so handy, and I love the book by Doug Kaufman. I'm going to say his name again because this guy is just awesome. He's got a book called Infectious Diabetes, and I suggest that if you've got diabetes, that you spend the $20 or whatever it is and get that book, because it will likely help you immensely. Then you can go ahead and do his diet. He doesn't really sell anything. He's got some products that he sells just to keep the show on the road, but I mean, you buy the book and you do the work yourself. I mean, he gives away the free diet and everything else like that, so you can do the diet free of charge. There's nothing, no monthly fees, none of that kind of thing. And I know it's effective. I've seen it many, many times. So, Infectious Diabetes by Doug Kaufman is part of the Fungal Link series. So, why fungal etiology? Well, like cancer and like heart disease and like other diseases, fungal mycotoxins, those are the mycotoxins that fungus, yeast, mold, stuff like that leave behind as they die. Those fungal mycotoxins, they use those to actually induce diabetes in lab animals. That should tell you a little something. And so but what's that got to do with me, or what's that got to do with you? Well, one of the things is we know, and this has been proven for many decades, that fungal mycotoxins that you find in your grains and you find in other things are things that cause insulin resistance, and a whole host of other things, as I've shared in my other videos. They're cardiotoxic. They destroy DNA. They manipulate DNA in genetics. They are tremogenic. They cause Parkinson's and all. Just the line is endless of the issues that it can cause and has been known to cause. The Fungal Bionics book that was written by the World Health Organization mycologist, the great A.V. Costantini, many years ago. It was a 4-volume book, I believe, and it was just loaded, thousands of references in each one, worldwide meta-analysis on fungus and the mycology in general, fungus and their mycotoxins, and how it damages health worldwide. Now, when I talk about alcohol, we can get into that another way. Say, well, the French paradox, this, that, and the other. And keep in mind that those people that drink that wine on a regular basis, they also have the olive oil that is highly, highly antifungal and antimycotic. So it's not just a matter of, oh, alcohol is good for you, because by and large it's not. But what it does is it keeps in balance, if you don't have too much of it in balance, it keeps certain pathogenic bacteria at bay, and that can be okay and healthy. When it's out of control, like antibiotic use and grain use and things like that, you're going to find insulin resistance. You're going to find, as cancer and antifungals, cancer and mycotoxins and fungus go virtually hand in hand. You can find that it's just ubiquitous. It's all around us. But there are things you can do about it. And a decent diet, raw, near as raw as possible, is crucial for that. So anyway, we'll go on here a little bit further, and again, some of the insulin resistance, some of these mycotoxins we were talking about, again, as I've said before, antibiotics, sugar, of course, drugs, cyclosporin. For those that take that have had a transplant, for instance, they give a fungal mycotoxin to suppress their immune system. That should tell you a little bit of something about what antibiotics can do. And as I've said in my note yesterday, cholesterol tends to go up, and the reason cholesterol goes up is because your liver is trying to save you from the toxins that are in your blood to cling on to them and rid your body of it. So that's the beauty of knowing when cholesterol is starting to go up. You got to ask yourself, what's going on in my body that cholesterol in my liver is deciding I need to put out more cholesterol to cling to some kind of toxin, or to plug a hole, basically, let's say coronary artery disease, or as far as any lesions that you have in arterial lesions. So we'll stick with that for now, and try to make this a real short one, but I'd love it if you guys consider, if nothing else, go to Know the Cause site and read some of his, it's all free, read some of his materials there, and articles on diabetes and the connections there, and maybe consider getting on the phase 1 diet. So you guys in the Philippines are obviously just the same, it works for you as well. You guys have beautiful foods available as well. Otherwise, get yourself going on some Picolinate, which is the one that I'm going to put a link on the bottom here to a meta-analysis study that's terrific, that states that Chromium Picolinate is very powerful. The study consists of 22 diabetes and Chromium Pic studies worldwide. So I love meta-analysis. To me, that's what I go by and large, not a single study. Let me add here, if anybody in my family from Bemidji looks at this, there was a study done in Bemidji at Bemidji State University, and it said chromium supplementation chromium supplementation alone increased the lifespan of lab animals. They were used on 33.3%. That's a lot. So I mean, there are things that are available there that are dirt cheap, that can do a great deal for your health and longevity. This is 1,000 micrograms that we use, and I split it throughout the day. So when I make my shakes that I show for Asia and I after school, and Macy and I, when I make her one, I'll put the Chromium Pic, I'll break the capsule open, put maybe half of it in shake for Macy and half of it in the shake later on for Asia and I, and that's how we do it. So we get it, you can take it, just as the capsule itself, or just take it in supplementation where you pour it right into your drinks, your foods, whatever that works for you. But anyway, strongly consider Chromium Pic, vanadium, and an antifungal diet for diabetes, and I think you're going to find it's amazing what can be done. Now let me touch on one last thing. When it comes to type 1 diabetes, the reason I wrote that on here is because you'll find, and they've known this for at least 20 years, that a study was done in Japan, and they found that the cause of type 1 diabetes was a fungal mycotoxin, a very powerful one, on the order of aflatoxin, that is in the Langerhans isolate. So that is what is causing all kinds of issues with the beta cells and onward. So when you think about diabetes, think about fungal mycotoxins, and I think you'll be ahead of the game where most of the world will probably take our lifetime to catch up on, sadly. But anyway, that'll be it for now, and we'll catch up with you guys soon. So if you have any comments or anything else, I'll try to put a couple things in the link or in the bottom in the description, a couple links for you, especially that meta-analysis, and hopefully it helps you out. All right, thank you guys. Bye-bye.